If something isn't working in your life, relationships, work, motivation, it's possible that there is something in your subconscious that is driving this behavior, driving your behavior. So in this video, I am going to be talking about ego. Hi, I said I was going to talk about ego. So I'm going to. Is ego ruining your life? How do you know if ego is ruining your life? So the first thing you would have to do is to start raising your awareness of how ego interplays with your decision making. You have to get to know the ego, you have to befriend the ego, because it's the only way you're going to get to understand it. So you can kind of see it as a bit of like an interesting project, if you like, just raising awareness of how ego impacts your decision making in your everyday life. How is it running your life? How is it running your life? And also, what is it protecting you from? It's quite likely that your ego thinks it's doing the best thing for you, so it would try and protect you from being in certain situations, especially if the conditioning that we've had as men has been that that situation is going to expose you as being vulnerable, somehow less capable. The ego will then jump in and stop the external world from seeing that side of you. But you have the power to override your ego. You're not completely helpless in this situation. It's all down for you to orchestrate. So raising awareness, being aware of how ego is impacting your decisions is the first thing you need to do. So it's almost like you need to embrace the ego, but take like an umbrella stance. So you're kind of looking over situations as they're happening, so that you can have a more objective view of how ego is at play in your life. Don't be hard on your ego, because your ego actually thinks it's doing the best job for you based on the story thus far. And it's down to you to update your ego and say, these things that you're protecting me from, I actually don't need any protection from them. But you have to retrain your ego. You have to reprogram your ego so that it's on board with the man that you want to be today, and not the man that you were conditioned to be yesterday. So how does ego show up in your life? Well, if you're being defensive, if you feel the need to always be right, it's quite likely that these decisions are being driven by ego. If you are always looking for external validation, if you need someone to give you a medal for something, the chances are you're being driven by ego. One of my crowning glory moments, actually, was when I managed, sorry, let's get that right. One of my crowning glory moments was when I managed to diffuse a potentially volatile and aggressive situation. And that's something that I hold inside. That's my own internal value system. It's not something that I can shout out and show to friends. There's nothing to show for that. But inside, I know that happened, and that makes me feel great. And it's because I put ego aside. That situation had nothing to do with ego. So when you are working, when you are collaborating with people, when it doesn't always have to be you, when you feel that you're able to be vulnerable because you know that you're all connected and you're all the same, that's when you will have gently said to ego, I don't need you to protect me in these situations. I'm going to do things this way. That's when you know that you're not working through ego. If you're having issues with intimacy, for example, it's quite likely that ego is driving your responses in these situations. And it's down for you at that time to be aware and pay attention to what's happening in your body. If your body starts tightening up, you get all tense, your nervous system is I want to start fighting, then it's quite possible that ego is stopping you from experiencing what is happening in that moment, forgetting about the past, forgetting about the past conditioning. Ego is stopping you from experiencing in the present moment. And that's a good way to bring yourself back, to kind of move away from ego, is to bring yourself into your body in the present moment and assess the situation, assess whether there is any danger, assess, oh, okay, maybe what's going to be the danger if I show myself as being vulnerable. Actually, it might be supported, and that's kind of where you have to go. And it's not easy. It's not something that comes easy. It could be a bit of a challenge, or it could be something that actually you fall into quite easily because you kind of start tapping into the person that you are originally before all the conditioning. So the bottom line is really with ego, it's probably going to be the same with fear and separation, is that you don't have to block it, you embrace it. You get to know it, you become familiar with it. You gain some understanding of it, because that's how relationships flourish, through understanding. And it's just the same as a relationship with another human being, relationship with different aspects of yourself. The more you embrace them and start to understand them empathetically, without judgment, when you accept them unconditionally, then you're able to move forward and develop a new relationship. And that's what it'll be. It's not about trying to stop ego. It'll be about developing a new relationship with your ego, because you've updated them. It's like with ChatGPT. You have to give them as much information as possible for them to give you an answer that really reflects who you are today. And it's exactly the same thing. So get to know ego, embrace it, update it, and then you'll be able to move forward and make more better informed decisions, informed by your true self, and have better relationships and better outcomes. If this video has resonated with you in any way, this could be the channel for you, because it's pretty much what my content's about. I try to keep it real. I've said before that the stuff that I put on is all inspirational stuff. When I say inspirational, it's kind of come from my higher self and the realms above me that I have supporting me. So yeah, this may be the channel for you. And just remember the next two topics kind of in this series, if you like. The next one is going to be fear, how fear is impacting, and then it's going to the last one. The third one will be separation, but the format will be the same. It's about being aware of it, how to recognize how it's how it's affecting our lives, how it's at play, how it affects our decisions, and then what we can do to move through it. Thank you.